Well, hello, welcome again to our reading of the Greek New Testament, and I'm reading 1 Corinthians and up to chapter 13, this famous chapter on love, one of Paul's more moving passages, and one which is often read at weddings and so on. So it follows on from his comments about the various gifts and things, and we have done this bit, but just to repeat this last sentence which leads into 13, Kaieti kath hupabolein hodon humin de numi. So he says, but I will show you still, or show you further, a more excellent way to you. So I will show you a more excellent way. And he now says, Ean tais glosais ton anthropon lalo, kai ton angelon, agapen de meiko, gegona kalkos e korn, e kumbalon alalasdon, kai ean echo prophetean, kai edo ta mosteria panta, kai pasan ten gnosin, kai ean echo pasan ten pistin, hosti ore methistanai, agapen de me echo uden ami. Kan so miso, panta ta hup akotamu, kai eon parador tosomamu, hina kalkesamai, agapen de me echo uden o felumai. So if I speak if lalo I speak, now we're getting lots of subjunctives after the this present subjunctive from lalio. It just looks like the normal form. But if I speak with the tongues of men and of angels, but I do not have love. Now he uses may here because this is not there's doubt involved with this, so he doesn't use oo. It's almost I may not have. So we would just say, I do not have love. Gegona, perfect from ginomai, it's the first person singular, gegona. So I have become, akon is a participle from akeo, cognate with our word echo. Kalkos simply means a bronze object, and it's generally taken here to be something which makes a noise, and hence a gong. It's just a vague term, kalkos, something made out of brass or bronze. So if I do all that and I do not have love, I have become a resounding gong, or kumbalon, cognate with our word cymbal, and alalasdon is an adjective, it's an onomatopoeic word. That is, it simply means to scream out "ah la 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 la" as a cry of wailing, and so that has no etymology apart from just the sound pattern that it makes. So it means a wailing cymbal. So if I do all that, I have become a resounding gong and a wailing cymbal. And if I have propheteia, this is the abstract noun, so the gift of prophecy, I think, and kai edo. Now these are all subjunctives. This is an aorist subjunctive from oida. So if I have prophecy and I know all the mysteries and all ten gnosin, all knowledge, and if I have pasan ten pistin, all faith, hosti, so as to, plus infinitive, methistanai is from meta plus histemi. Now with verbs, meta has that sense of change, of changing one thing into another, and so it's histemi, so to cause to stand from one place to another, hence to move. Ore, neuter plural from to oros, third declension, so as to move mountains, but I do not have agape love. Then ami, I am nothing. Now why we have then and not den, as we have down here, is not easy to guess really. The two words were being used interchangeably because by this stage the Greek delta was being pronounced, as in modern Greek, as a the. So den, which we would pronounce it in classical Greek, by this stage was being pronounced then, and hence the theta was often coming in place of the delta here. So there's no difference between them, so I am nothing. Kan for kai e'an, another aorist subjunctive here. The verb is psomizdo. It's an interesting word. In modern Greek, psomi is the word for bread. In classical Greek, it had the sense of to feed with small mouthfuls, as one would a child. It's a classical word. It's in fact, you get in New Testament Greek, you get psomion, a small piece of bread. It's often has the sense here perhaps of dole out or to give away. So the word came to mean to give food to the poor, to give bread to the poor, and hence just generally to give away. It's an odd word for Paul to use here, but that's what he does. So if I give away all the things existing of me, so all the possessions, this is a participle from hubako, all the things that exist for me, or of me. So if I give away all my possessions, and if I hand over, parado, subjunctive from paradidomi, to soma mu, notice mu is enclitic, hence the accent here. I give away my body, hina kalkasomai, kalkasomai, this is a subjunctive. Now the verb here is kalkamai, which means to boast. So it's literally, in order that I may boast of it. Now this is in fact the most reliable reading, but as you see there's a variant reading. In fact, I think there are a couple of variant readings. The main one is to replace the chi with a theta, and that would mean in order that I might be burnt. And although this is probably the better reading, most modern translators, as far as I can see, take the variant reading here and translate it that I might be burnt. So even if I hand over my body in order that I might be burnt, but I do not have love, uden ophelumai, this is from ophelio, which has the sense of to profit or gain. This is the passive here. So I get benefit, uden, in respect of nothing. So in other words, I get no benefit from it in the passive. So I am benefited to no extent, i.e. I derive no benefit from it. He agape macrothume, Christuetai he agape, u tseloi, and then in brackets, he agape u perpetuetai, u fusiutai, uk askemone, uk tsete tahiates, uk paroxunetai, u logizdatai tokakon, u kaire epite adikia, sun kaire de te aletheia, panta stege, panta pistue, panta elpiste, panta hupomene. I'll just pause it there. So love is long suffering. This is from macrothumia. It's a common word in the New Testament, or fairly common. So it means love is long suffering. It puts up with a lot. It is Christuetai. It is kind. This is connected with Christos. So so love is kind. Notice we get a nice chiasmus here. So we've got the noun and then verb and noun. That's a stylistic thing. It's called a chiasmus. Greek loves to do that sort of thing, and Paul occasionally uses that particular little trope. Ud sele, it is not envious. In brackets, love u perpetuitai. This is a very late verb. It is found in Polybius. It means is boastful or brags. It's not one you come across very often. It's quite rare and it's quite late. So love, it does not brag or boast. It is not puffed up. This is from fusi o'o, verb we've had earlier in this book. In this letter, this is the passive, so it is not puffed up with pride. Uk eskomene, this is from askemonio, to behave improperly. We've had roots like this just earlier. It's alpha privative, the sk is connected with echo. It does not behave improperly. It does not seek the things of itself. U paroxenetai, it is not quick to anger. It's a bit like our word, the sense of this is more like our word prickly. It doesn't take offence easily. In modern English, a paroxysm, which is derived from this of course, refers to in medicine to a convulsion or a sudden worsening of an illness, but here it's got the sense of it is not quick to anger, it is not prickly, might be a good translation in English. U logistatai tokakon, it does not reckon that which is bad. In other words, it doesn't, almost, the sense here is it doesn't keep score of something bad that's happened. It does not rejoice in unrighteousness, but sun kairo, it rejoices along with the truth. Pantastege, stego is to cover. It can, or perhaps often translated here in the sense of it puts up with, it bears all things. A stegos is a roof, so it covers things up in the sense of puts up with them. It believes all things, it hopes all things, it endures, hupomene, it is steadfast in respect of all things. He agape, u depoti pipte, eti de prophetei, cat argethesontai, eti glossai pausontai, eti gnosis, cat argethesatai, ek merus gar ginoskomen kai ek merus prophetuomen, hotan de elthe toteleon, to ek merus cat argethesatai, hoti amen napios, elalun hos napios, ephronun hos napios, elogisdomen hos napios, hote gegona ane cat ergeka, ergeka ta tu napiu, blepomen ga arti di es optru en I nigmati, tote de prosopon prosopon. Arti gnosko ek merus, toti de epignosomai kathos kai epignosthein. Nuni de mene pistis elpis agape ta tria tauta, medzon de tuton he agape. So love never, this is ude plus poti, never pipte, falls. Some people rendered this as love never ceases, but pipto is to fall. So love never falls down. Ate, whether, other rents take this as cease or something as well, but it just means to fall. Now we get this ate. So whether there are prophecies, propheteia, this is a feminine noun, they will be nullified. It's one of Paul's favourite words. It's kata plus alpha privative plus the erg root. This is a future passive here. So they will lose their power. They will cease to operate, might be a good translation here. So where there are prophetia, prophecies, they will cease to, or gifts of prophecy, perhaps they will cease to operate. Whether there are tongues, they will cease from power. Again, future passive here. Where there is knowledge, it will cease to operate. It's the same verb again. And ek merus, for we know ek merus means something like in part. So yeah, in part, or in the sense of not completely. So perhaps some people translate this as imperfectly. For we know in part, and we prophesy in part, perhaps partially almost, and whenever the teleon, the perfect, might come, that which is in part, that which people render this as that which is imperfect, will lose its power, will cease to operate. Hote, when, now this is the first person singular imperfect from the verb to be. The form is different from classical Greek. It's a different verb, a different form here. It's ain, but here it's amain most of the time in biblical Greek. So when I was napios, a baby, again we've seen this word before, it's ne, which is a negative, and there's an epsilon contracted here. It's that ep root of speaking. So that which can't speak has to learn to speak as a baby. So when I was a child, it's often translated, I was speaking as a child, I was thinking from phronio as a child, and I was reckoning, I was making decisions as a child. Hote gegona, perfect again from ginomai, when I became a man, the things of the child, kat ergeka, and this is that same verb again, kata plus alpha plus the erg root, the things of the child ceased to operate. For we see, sorry, no, it's I, isn't it? It's the first person. So I put an end to, I should say here, I caused to cease to operate the things of the child, because it's first person here, ka. For we see arti now d s optru. This is from s optron. It's a neuter noun. It means it's the word for a mirror. For we see now through a mirror in enigmati. We get our word cognate with enigma. So literally we see in an enigma. That is, in a way that's difficult for us to understand. At that time, understand, we will see prosopon prosopon, face to face. Arti, now I know, ek merus, in part, or perhaps imperfectly. Tote de, at that time, but at that time, epignosemai, I will gain full understanding. It's from epiginosko, which ginosko is to know, but the epi makes it very strong. So at that time I will gain full understanding, just as also I will be fully understood. This is the passive from the same verb. Nunide, there's that strong nunit there with the deictic iota on the end, which rounds everything up. But now faith remains, hope, love, so three things but singular verb. So we would say now there remains faith, hope and love. These three things, and then that famous phrase, medzone de two-tone he agape. But the love is the greatest, it's actually the greater among these things. You'd often translate it as a superlative, but it is actually a comparative. So love is greater than these, that is the other ones in the list here. So love is the greatest of these is love is the usual translation. The Greek actually says love is greater than these. And that's the end of chapter 13.